This is Dave Garrick with Atlas Screen Supply.
David Gross with Condi Systems.
Hello, this is Jimmy Lamb with Sawgrass.
This is Lon Winters with Graphic Elephants.
And you're listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
hosted by Aaron Montgomery
and Terry Combs, coming to you live from a condemned outhouse on the wrong side of the tracks, somewhere dark, dirty, and dank.
Well, thanks for that, Jimmy Lamb. Welcome to the show. It's Friday, July 19th, 2019. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at equipmentzone.com and at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at aaronmontgomery.info. I don't know who this guy sitting next to me is here. What happened to Eric? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Terry, welcome back, dude.
What happened to Eric? Nice. And by the way, next week I'll be in Secaucus doing the NBA Meadowlands show. So, yeah, it'll be Eric again.
Yeah, cool. Nice. Yeah.
Terry, the third wheel guy.
Yeah, the third wheel guy. Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, today we've got some exciting stuff coming our way here. We've got Deborah Korn from Print Media Center back on the show. The intergalactic, super awesome. You know, we can come up with all the fun stuff. This is going to be a blast. We had a blast last time we talked to her. We've had a blast every time we've had an opportunity to do podcasts and things with her. So we're really excited to welcome her back and talking about welcoming all of her printing friends into our garment world and vice versa. So we're getting a lot closer than we probably think to Printing United coming up in October. Gosh. So we'll make it official that everybody can do their handshakes there at Printing United. But the worlds are colliding, so we're excited to talk more about that today. But what about you, Terry? What's going on over there in your world?
Well, you know, Aaron, rather than doing a news item this week, I spent quite a bit of time starting my 2020 schedule. Every trade show, by the way, has been scheduled except for the Impressions Expo, formerly ISS. They're going to be doing a Gulf Coast show, probably not in Houston, but that's the only one that doesn't have a date. And of course, I'm pressing them because I have to schedule all my other classes and things around it. So they did give me a 3-week window so that I could block it out. But so yesterday I sent off my 25 available weekends, which is a sad state of affairs. That means I have 27 booked weekends already.
Oh, boy.
But I sent that out to the folks over at Atlas Screen Supply because they get first dibs since they have been my longtime class partner. So they'll be scheduling probably 4 classes in Chicago and 2 classes in Nashville. And then I'll be sending my list over to Tyler at Workhorse Products to schedule 4 more classes. And Aaron, I'll just fill in the blanks from there. It's
all right. So basically, Eric, just so you know, looks like we need to start updating our images and whatnot. So just throwing that out there. Terry will be the guy in the background. It sounds like if he's. Yeah, exactly. Man, good stuff, Terry. Well, keeping busy, that keeps you out of trouble. So that's important. All right. Well, the news item that I saw that was kind of cool, I thought, Shaquille O'Neal. Those of you that don't know who Shaquille O'Neal is, he's a pretty famous basketball player and a big dude. Shaq has partnered with the folks over at Epson, and they're going to be giving free printers to schools. So Epson announced a partnership with NBA Hall of Famer, business leader and philanthropist, easy for me to say, Shaquille O'Neal, who has joined Epson as a brand technology ambassador to champion the everyday benefits of Epson's complete line of technology solutions for home, business, and education. O'Neal says, between family and work, life keeps me pretty busy. I'm always on the lookout for products to make everyday tasks quick and easy so I can focus on things that matter most. Epson simply offers the best printing and home technology out there. So now he's teamed up with Epson in a philanthropic initiative with the company called Epson and Shaq, collaboration with communities and schools that provide EcoTank printers, projectors, and scanners to schools across the country. So some cool stuff there. I wonder if Epson will bring him out to Printing United. That'd be pretty cool.
I was just going to say that, and Equipment Zone has a 20 by 30 booth right across the aisle from them. So that
would
be. If he's there, my gosh, I'll see him. Maybe on our flight, out of Phoenix. So
there you go, for sure. So good stuff there. And then Terry, the regulators are going strong here in the chat already. So love that. Marshall checking in here says, "Yo, printing peeps, good morning." Jim Kazikis says, "Hey, folks." We've got Jeff checking in. Cheryl, Joe, good morning, everyone. And let's see here. Jim says, "See you at the NBM show, Terry." So there you go.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
to try to get there. I haven't had a chance to. Maybe I have, but I need to reconnect with Jim if we've met face to face. If we haven't, I haven't had a chance to do that yet. Todd says, "Morning all, who's pumped?" So that'd be me.
All right.
So good stuff going on there. You know what, Terry? This guy, Jesse Martinez, good
Jesse.
friend of ours. We've worked together with Jesse. So glad to have you along for the ride here this morning, Jesse. And
Jesus is just all right with me.
good stuff, Terry and Martha. All right, we'll do that all morning if we if you let me. So we've got to get to Deborah here, but
All right.
let's keep moving, Terry.
Yeah, hey, we want to thank the regular listeners, the regulators there, and any new listeners tuning in today. If you have an idea for a show, go to our Contact Us page at 2regularguys.com. Reach out to us on social media. We are everywhere as 2 Regular Guys. And if you are catching the live video via Facebook Live, please jump in and participate. We've gone through a long list of folks who are already there, and we would love to have your questions. And Aaron, with that, let's hear a word from our gold sponsor.
This episode of the 2 Regular Guys is brought to you by Brighton Leap, makers of the Reggie Award-winning Embrilliance embroidery software. Embrilliance is different. You don't need hardware dongles or to trade active seats for every user. One license lets you run every computer in your shop at once. Embrilliance runs natively on both Mac and Windows. Your single license lets you install on both platforms. Embrilliance is modular. If you only need customizing with lettering, sizing, and recoloring, you can get just that. Embrilliance's unique stitch processing tools even allow you to resize and improve expanded stitch files from digitizers or stock collections for faster running, lighter embroideries. If you decide you need fully featured digitizing, it's fast and easy to add powerful design creation tools to your system. You can start with any tool and build your ideal kit. All Embrilliance programs run standalone or work together in their unified platform. See the difference for yourself at Embrilliance.com. 2 Regular Guys listeners can enter the exclusive code 2RG, that's the number 2RG, at Embrilliance.com/store for 10% off your entire purchase.
All right, take advantage of that code to save 10%. Thanks again to Brighton Leap for their support. And they are our gold sponsor, but we have other sponsorship opportunities available. Check that out at 2regularguys.com/sponsorship.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Thanks very much for Embrilliance for their support. And all right, Terry, well, let's talk some Printing United and printing and garment decorating and bringing that all together and having a lot of fun here. So you ready for that?
Let's do it. Deborah Korn is with Print Media Center and is the intergalactic ambassador to the Printerverse.
It's easy for you to say.
Exactly. We've done some podcasts together under Deborah's platform. So today we'd like to welcome her to 2 Regular Guys, and we'll call it 2 Regular Guys and a Girl Who Prints. And Deborah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me back. I think I'm half in the camera and half not.
Yeah.
Let me center myself. I was trimmed incorrectly. See what happens?
Myself.
Look, I'm a business card that's trimmed incorrectly.
Hi. You've heard about that stuff in your world, huh?
Yes, just a bit.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming back. I know that you've just to kind of give everybody a little heads up. You're there in Florida where you have some storms and whatnot. Yeah, so if we lose you, everybody will be okay. We'll bring you right back as soon as you can get back in there. And thank you for working through all that to be here with us this morning. I guess it's almost afternoon for you there, but let's dive right in, Deborah. What do you think the print world is really kind of most excited about learning when it comes to garment decorating? What's kind of your sense of that from your knowledge of the print world there?
I mean, I think that what everybody going to Printing United is going to be most interested in learning is how everybody on that show floor can work together to create that one-stop print shop. And whether that's finding, sorry, I'm like out of this frame, whether that is finding, new ways to partner with people, or that's finding new technology to fit into your business. I really think that the opportunity is looking for the opportunity. I think that people will probably go there with some indication that printing on fabric is a way to make money, because it is, as we all know. As it's coming more into the commercial space, we're not really referring to it as garment decoration as much as you guys do in that traditional space, but more as like an add-on service. For example, if you're already printing invitations for somebody's wedding, right?
Yeah.
You can also print maybe some bags to go along, or some something that goes into the hotel room, or a gift or something like that. So a pillow, it could be anything. It could be a blanket. It's not a garment like you guys think of it. I think that actually is more scary to the commercial printers, because they think garment means I've got to make a shirt out of this, or a piece of clothing, and there's a whole lot more into it. But there are immediate wins that anybody can have on that show floor just by discovering something new that they did not even know they can incorporate.
Totally. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think that's probably where the garment folks or our side, what is that add-on product that we can, collaborate together on that just brings more value to our customers, and then in turn brings more value across the spectrum there. So that's a great way to look at it for sure.
I mean, there's so much opportunity. I mean, even if you look at it from your side, let's say, if we're still right now, we have the luxury of being able to say your side and my side. But I really think after October 23rd to 25th, that is not going to be that way anymore. There will be specialty printers who maybe only do one thing. But I really hope that what happens is that the industry becomes one industry and people just have different specialties in it. But if we're still looking at it from as your side and my side, even on your side, what happens when those garments go somewhere? Do they need a tag? Do they need a poster to explain what it is? Do they need floor graphics? Is it in a retail environment? Yeah. So there are a million ways that the commercial print space can easily be a way for a garment printer or someone who's printing on textiles in any way, shape, or form to take advantage of all the opportunities they're missing out on by not fulfilling the whole order, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Well, Deborah, you have had the deep dive into garment decorating since ThreadX, and plus being us sharing some podcasts talking about it, and so what's been the biggest surprise or myth that's been dispelled with you about this whole garment fabric decorating world?
I mean, my limited experience was at the ThreadX conference, and as we discussed in our other podcast, it was a weird, way to dive into that pool because the conference wasn't actually about garment decorating.
Right. And you didn't pull a squeegee.
Right? No, I honestly didn't learn anything about the process or anything like that, but I did learn about the people. Yeah. And I will have to reiterate what I said on the last podcast, which is that the screen printers that we met with are still really focused on being creative. And I do think that the commercial printers can learn a lot from that. While they're focusing on the craft of printing, the commercial printers are kind of focusing on it, get it in and get it out as fast as possible. And, there's definitely ways that everyone can learn from each other in that sense. But ultimately, I just think that the people that I met, they want to be able to retain that creativity, retain the craft of what they're doing, And unfortunately, it seems like they're being awakened to the fact that there has to be like a real business behind it. And I don't mean that in an offensive manner. I mean it as I'm a creative person too. And it's very hard for me to take my focus off being creative and just having great ideas or putting ideas out in the world and manifesting them. But actually manifesting them is a different skill set that I'm not so great at. So I identified with those printers in many ways in that sense. And I think that the commercial printers and the people traditionally in the more, like I said, churn it space can really add value to the business skills of some of the printers who, like I said, focus more on the creativity. Although I hope they never lose that creativity, because that's what I love about them.
Back at ThreadX, the most note taking I saw and was from the gentleman who was talking about basically how to run his business and all the ideas that he was throwing out there, just snippets of ideas about hiring new employees and how to bring them in, that sort of thing. So yes, you are correct. We in garment decorating and product decorating need a little bit of that as well. And as I said, a lot of note taking. So I think the folks on our side realize that.
Yeah, totally. And I also love the fact, Deborah, that you brought that up earlier, that we are talking kind of our side, your side, and like you said, I think October will make it official, but there's probably really not really an our side, your side. I mean, we're certainly probably closer related to the fabric side of things, but decorating is decorating, and you guys happen to be decorating on the paper more often than not, but you guys decorate on a whole lot of other things too. You mentioned floor graphics and things like that. So I love that we're kind of bringing that together, and I love that you pointed that out. It called us out on that. I love it.
That's actually such a great point, because the only thing that is really differentiating, well, the major differentiation here is what we're printing on, but there's still ink going on something. And as long as there's ink going on something, there's customers that have to purchase it. There's a way that they need to purchase it that fits into the world that we live in, which means automation and being able to order whatever you want at whatever quantity you want, at whatever size and color you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, aka web to print ordering or e-commerce. And the people we met at ThreadX are actually really good at that, because that's how they work, but the printers don't really do that. So that you just triggered something else that they can kind of learn from each other about. But you're right, at the common core, everybody's a printer, and I think that that's a great thing that people should remember as we're going along here about the convergence, is that most of it is already there. It's just working out the little details of how we can all fit together.
Totally. I love it.
And I think part of it too is where the different folks in our industries started, because you could stop every screen printer at Print United and ask this question: hey, were you ever in a band? And half of them are going to say yes. I don't think folks who are printing business cards necessarily got into printing business cards because they were in a band.
Right. That's so funny. Well, most of them get into it because it's a family business.
Yeah.
But then I do a lot of podcasts, as we've mentioned. And I always like to ask the people how they got into the industry. And I mean, most people are like, well, I didn't mean for it to happen. And then I just found this great opportunity and kind of went with it. So it's interesting. But no one said a band. I did have somebody who actually took shop print class in high school and ended up running a print shop out of their high school, where their mother would get the orders at home. His mother would call the school and the vice principal would give him the orders. And it got so crazy that they actually let him out of school for a certain amount of time each day to go to a real print shop to fulfill the orders. And he became a printer.
Wow. That's a cool story. That's a really cool story.
Shout out to Dante Hamilton. I love him so much.
All right. Good stuff. We'll have to check him out. Dante Hamilton. Love it. Cool. So I do have to note here our producer Eric Campbell is an embroidery guy, so we need to. He says sometimes thread to be fair. So we got to don't forget our embroidery friends in this world. But
I love my. I'm really into embroidery now. I started getting all of these like company shirts. I can't believe how intricate it is. It's really a cool process. And I have to say, one of my favorite things to do at the former SGIA show, which is now Printing United, is to go to where the embroidery machines are, and sometimes they have like 20 hats being done in a row. It's really cool. Commercial print people, go find that stuff.
Yeah.
Eric's chomping at the bit to jump in here and start talking embroidery right this minute. I could tell.
Totally. Hey, I do have to throw one more from the regulators up here. Jan says, best quote ever. Her son Josh always would tell people about her business, and the quote is, "My mom puts stuff on stuff." So there you go. That's a great way to completely wrap that up. I love it.
The science of
I love it.
decorating.
I'm going to steal that. Hashtag stuff on stuff.
Yeah, stuff on stuff. I love it. All right, cool. So, I know probably we're reiterating a lot of things that we may have talked about. Speaking of reiterating, I want to make sure we encourage everybody here, the regulators here, to get over to your site, and we'll tell people where to find that here soon. But to check out the podcast and stuff that you do across the board. But we did four really awesome podcasts that we got.
We did them together. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Two guys and a girl who prints was awesome. So I wanted them to check that stuff out. But let's talk a little bit about the printers. So you're talking to the printers here, Deborah. What advice do you have for those printing folks when it comes to kind of being a part, kind of stepping out of their comfort zone into this Printing United world?
I mean, I would encourage everybody to ask the most questions possible and to speak to the most people possible, and not to look at it as I'm going there to make a purchase, but to look at it as I'm going to see where the opportunity is for my business for the next 10 years from now, not to be short-sighted on it at all. Immediate wins are really important, and I get that. And the best thing about it is that any of the technology that could be considered crossover, more so than not, there's going to be a starter kit for it. I mean, the manufacturers are getting very smart with coming out with, hey, test it out with this guy, and then you can upgrade it to this guy, or even smarter, modules. They're building modules into these things, so you can add on as you get the more knowledge and more customers, quite frankly. Also, it's a great opportunity to really find the trade printers who have the trade printers and the trade finishers are amazing resources for, go to the shop, the show floor, Printing United, walk around, talk to people, figure out, certainly talk to customers of the equipment that you're interested in, find out how they're making a business out of it, and then find your favorite trade printer or trade finisher and start testing the waters before you make that investment. And I mean, I'm sure the manufacturers are like, no, tell them to buy equipment. But no, that really would not. You asked me what my advice would be, and my advice would be talk to everybody. Don't just buy something because you think you should. Although we did do the podcast with the gentleman who just was like, oh, screw it, I'm going to become a dye sublimation printer. And he's not really successful at it now.
Giant dye sublimation printer.
But I mean, ultimately, everybody, to me, the real convergence comes with the exchange of ideas and talking to people who are nothing like you. Don't talk to a printer or a print customer or a manufacturer that is in your lane. Like, find the people out of your lanes. And also some really interesting things I have personally always found on the outskirts of the trade show. Like, everybody knows where the big booths are. Everybody knows what the big names are. And that is fantastic. And they always have an offering to help people. But those tiny 10 by 10 booths in the corners of this new technology, or technology that has not yet really come to the States or something like that, that is where the really interesting opportunities are, and quite frankly, ones that a lot of people aren't looking at. So not only can you converge, but you can create a new lane out of it. So it's walk around, look around, ask questions, do that one kind of get a view of the landscape before you settle into a booth or a conversation, and really, just talk to everybody and possible and see the sessions. There's a lot of great sessions going on there too. A lot of great education that is going to be focused on how to create businesses out of these other subject matter.
Cool.
Deborah, I was in a meeting just yesterday discussing Printing United, and the one key that came out of that conversation is this particular event is going to be a lot of education. We're going to be introducing products to folks who've never seen these products before. We'll have our regular customers there, but it's going to be a lot of education, and hopefully everybody's looking at it that way as well. And I'm actually looking forward to it. Aaron and I are big time speakers and educators, so it's I'm getting pretty excited about this event.
Yeah, I mean the show says that the show itself is like let's say the bread of the sandwich, but the exhibitors are the meat and the cheese. They're everything that's in there, and they are between the exhibitors and the education. I mean, they are really focused on just really making it an even playing field of knowledge, and that's kind of where it all starts, because you don't know what you need until you know where you are or where things are going, and it's going to be really important to keep up with those trends and understand what the consumers want, because that's kind of tied into the investments. And the show is certainly making a huge investment in elevating the market to begin with, and then saying, now that you're with us here mentally and prepared to get that checkbook out, because you're going to have to eventually, but let's understand first what you might need, where you might want to go, and then go down there and write your checks.
Excellent.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Aaron and I are going to be the ketchup and mustard of that sandwich, and Deborah, you can be the mayo.
Oh, sure. I love mayo.
Good stuff. So, Deborah, I'm going to go just real quick, because you had mentioned, some of the education stuff too, and you told us something before the show started that I was pretty excited to hear. So, you want to share that with the listeners here, real quick?
You talking about all the special events that they're having? Or?
Well, some of that, but you mentioned Bryan Adams and.
Oh yeah. Well, that's part of the. So yes, I did reach out to the show because I wanted to make sure that if we were going to discuss any of the features that I understood that they considered important, and one of the ones is that they're having these special community breakfasts, luncheons. I'm sorry, not breakfast. Okay. Oh no, yep. There was a breakfast too, and one of them is going to be feature Bryan Adams from the Olympus Group, who we actually saw at ThreadX, and he's going to be doing the presentation we actually saw about workforce development that you guys and I are still quoting to this day.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. We're very excited about that for sure. And yeah, I would say I probably quote something that Bryan has said almost daily, especially in the consulting work. And he's not the Bryan Adams from the singing songwriting Bryan Adams,
correct,
but from Olympus Group. So
for all those screen printers who started out in bands, different Bryan Adams. So
right.
well, Deborah,
the show. No, I was just going to say there actually, if you don't mind, there is actually 5 that they're having 4 lunches I can just quickly mention. So one of them is about sustainable strategies. There is a luncheon about functional and industrial printing that, I mean, Convergence is written all over that one. If there's one to go to, that sounds pretty great. a graphic producers luncheon, an apparel decorators luncheon, go apparel decorators, and a woman in print breakfast, which of course, being head of Girls Who Print, I would certainly encourage all the women going to the event to join that. All of these luncheons actually have a separate registration fee. So when you go to printingunited.com to register for the show, most likely you can find it when they ask you if you want any sessions or special events. It's there. If you have gotten to checkout and you have not picked one of these luncheons, you've gone too far. But the good news is that there isn't a number on the website visible that you can call, and they will help you register for whatever you want. And as I mentioned, you can get information about all of these special events at printingunited.com/events, and then they're all listed there. But that's going to be a really interesting array of programming. And I like that they made them luncheons because first, you have a captive audience, which is a great thing. But second of all, it shows that they're putting skin in the game. They're going to put you somewhere where it's going to be quiet, where you can get some food and you can just really absorb the information and the exchanges that are going on there. And I certainly hope to attend as many as possible.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I put their website up there on the screen and down in the corner there. So just like Deborah said, printingunited.com/events. You can find all this stuff right there. The Women in Print Alliance breakfast that you mentioned is happening October 24th. So that they got a fantastic lineup of speakers here. So really good stuff. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that stuff with us, Deborah.
Of course. And I just have to say, I saw a comment by Kristen about Women in Garment Decoration Group. Kristen, I just want to let you know that Girls Who Print is a catch-all for all of the women's industries. So groups in all the different segments. So if you can get in touch with me so I can help promote your group to all the women in print, Girls Who Print, I'd be happy to do that.
Perfect. Yep. Yeah. Christine Sharif, she actually is. We do a quarterly event that she comes in and guest hosts for us, and
Cool.
And she's got her Women in Garment Decoration group on Facebook that. From what I understand, very, very vibrant, thriving
Excellent.
group. So let's get you guys together for sure.
I'd love to cross-pollinate. There's one thing I did want to mention about Printing United, if there's some time.
Yeah.
They are creating something on the show floor that's really interesting. It's called the Experience Zone, and it's going to be 4,000 square feet of essentially the day in the life of print, right? So whether you're a printer or a consumer or a print buyer in any way, you'll be able to go into this space and see the multitude of ways that print is being manifested out in the world. And I believe, obviously tied to the equipment that can produce it. It's, think about retail stores, we keep mentioning that, but it's a really big opportunity. If you think it really, a clothing store, for example, covers every single piece of print that we've been discussing here that could possibly converge, So it's something that they're really, really excited about. And I can't wait to produce it. It's going to have over 90 printing applications showing off that they're showing off. I believe that eventually there's going to be a website that is going to highlight some of this. But right now, I would just say walk, don't run to the Experience Zone on the show floor when you get to Printing United, because not for nothing, but it's literally like it could be your shopping list. Like, oh, I didn't realize you could produce beer carriers from a wide format printer. Let me get over there. All I needed was a new substrate, like who
That's
knew?
cool. Yeah. And beer. So
I mentioned that to Terry
No,
because
kidding.
it's been a while since anyone mentioned alcohol. So I didn't want Terry to get upset.
He was getting a little jumpy over there.
He was getting a little jittery. I'm like, it's okay. Here's a virtual beer, Terry.
Here's a virtual beer. Nice.
Love it.
Speaking of virtual beers, there is an opening night party at Gillies, which they are really excited about. If anyone is old enough to remember the movie with John Travolta, Urban Cowboy, that was all shot at Gillies. I don't believe that they're getting the whole place, but hopefully they got the one part with the mechanical bull, because I think Terry needs to get on that thing. And
So
matter of
too,
fact,
possibly.
I think we should start a pool on how long Terry can last on it, Aaron. What do you think?
I'm writing this down right now.
Yeah. The party is actually listed under the events page too, but I'm pretty sure the first 2,000 people get free drinks.
Wow.
All right.
Ryan.
So that's a run, don't walk for sure.
I believe that's scheduled from 7 till 9, as I recall. So.
Look out! There was free drinks. That's why Terry knows.
That's the way he knew that one for sure.
The rest of it, I couldn't tell you anything about the rest of it, but. Well, hey, Deborah, we're talking about some crossovers, and something we mentioned in the past was the HP Stitch. So, what's your take on that? Where are people seeing growth with that tool?
Well, I was actually fortunate enough to be with HP at the Sign Expo when they launched the Stitch. I really hope that is true. I believe that was the show I was at. No, it was definitely the show I was at with them. It is honestly, talking about one of those starter kits for new business. That is what the HP Stitch was to me when I saw it. Now, I'm not a printer. I haven't bought anything from it, so I cannot speak to any case studies about it. But I can say this. HP does not invest in anything that is not investable for the future of print. And they have created a product that from my conversations and talking to them about the price point, is reachable to many, many, many printers out there. In other words, you do not need to mortgage your house to get it. And in that case, if you have the right clients, customers, or you can attract them through this, it is a fantastic add-on, especially if you're doing really color critical work. HP has put a lot of technology into making sure that the print that comes off the Stitch is going to match the print that comes off the Indigo, is going to match the print that comes off of their wide format technologies. And if you want to print a retail store and the clothing items or the garment fabric items in it, I've seen it. I've walked around their samples. You cannot tell that there's any difference in those blues, for example. And they, if you, next time you're near an HP booth, if they have it, it's really interesting to look at their display as well, because what they show you is how the same garment, and they use a shirt like a bicycle rider shirt as the example in a retail environment, and they show it that it was printed in like 3 different countries at 3 different times of the year on the same material, of course, because it's supposed to be, and you would not be able to tell that at all. There's probably more difference in one single print run, like when you start getting to the ends, and the of a regular toner based thing. So it's really, I can't use the word game changer because I don't really know it, but that is how a lot of people describe it. It's certainly worth looking into. Anything they do is worth looking into. Whether or not it's right for you is a different story, but there's nothing in their booth that is not relevant to the world in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that sounds pretty exciting. I definitely want to check that out and learn more and kind of get my hands on that too. Definitely. That's in
we can get
my
one.
arena.
We can totally get one. They're not as pricey as people might think.
Cool. All right. Checking that out. All right. So we have to get some more information on this. I've seen a lot of stuff on your feed about it, so I'm going to change gears on us here real quick. But talk to us about Project Peacock. Tell us more about that. It from the outside looking in, man, it looks pretty darn exciting.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the question and allowing me the opportunity to talk about it a little more. Project Peacock started as a way for me to show the people who create the print, people who came from my background in advertising agencies, print buyers, designers, project managers, marketing, the marketing people and designers who like work in corporations that also are responsible for speccing and purchasing print, to show them the new opportunities that are out there, because quite frankly, they have been left behind over the last 8 years. My personal theory is it happened when the paper spec reps kind of went away and they stopped showing the print customers the samples. But there's many reasons why consolidation, printers have, focusing more on keeping their presses churning than making sure they're printing the best stuff for their customers that they possibly can in the best way possible. But that has all really changed now. And the print customers have to be educated consumers when it comes to purchasing their print. And it means the primary relationship with your printer is always the most important thing. And I am not saying it's not, but what I'm saying now is even more important than that, is finding the right printers to have the right those relationships with. And that is based upon what you particularly need to print for your clients, your customers, or your company. So I started Project Peacock, and I would do a traveling roadshow and go to the conference rooms of ad agencies, brands, and corporations with in-house marketing departments and show them, basically do a show and tell. And I did it for 2 years with Canon Solutions America, Domtar Paper, a company called Scodex, which does digital print enhancement, and a company called Miralupa that does marketing, augmented reality for marketing technology. And we met with over 800 print customers in over 2 years. And it got to a point where that wasn't as much of, I wasn't really serving the community enough now at this point, because people started to request Project Peacocks to come to their office, and there just was not enough time to visit everyone's office. So I turned Project Peacock into Print Fair, which is currently traveling around the United States now, and also into a video series called Project Peacock Peaks. And the whole goal is, with Project Peacock Peaks, there's a video pair. The first video talks to the print customers and shows them all the opportunities that there are in print marketing through this one company's technology. And the second video talks to the printers and says, hey, if you thought any of that stuff was cool and you want to offer it to your customers, here's what you need to do. Print Fair is literally exactly what it sounds like. I get as many partners as possible, 8 to 10 companies, to join me. We rent an event space. We have a pop-up only event. We've been starting it off with a keynote presentation from Trish Wachowski, who's known as the folding fanatic in the commercial print space. And even you guys out there, you should know who Trish Wachowski is, especially if you're going to Converge. She will pop up in your feed for sure. And she does an amazing presentation. 20 creative ideas in 20 minutes, and we have a timer, and we actually try to hold her to that. She's been pretty great at it. I've had the former curator of the Nobel Prize Museum speak. His name is Tobias Degzel, and he does an amazing presentation about collaboration and creativity that inspires all the attendees. And then basically for 2 hours, they get to wander around and talk to the partners and have meaningful conversations about the work that they are doing and how these partners, who are the press manufacturers and the paper companies, can help them execute to the best of their ability. And the thing I am most proud of, besides the fact that agencies and first of all, let me just stress that this is an event for print customers, and it is totally free for them. So if you buy print, if you're a designer, if you're a marketing person, if you're a student, this event is totally free. If you are a printer or a service provider, it's $45 to get in, but we donate that money back to graphic communication students and programs in need. On top of that, for the 2 hours that everybody gets to wander around, they get to have the conversations with the manufacturers and the paper companies, as I said, how to best execute their work. And in every city that we've been to, we have driven digital printing projects to the customers of our partners, which the coolest thing is they're learning about it because they get this crazy phone call from one of their customers saying, Someone just called us with an order, said something about a peacock. I don't know what's going on, but thank you so much. And I just got that phone call yesterday from MGI, and that made me so happy. They got one of their customers got a big packaging order because of some samples they saw at the Project Peacock Dallas. So projectpeacock.printmediacenter.com is the address that you can learn about everything. We have events coming up in Chicago, actually in just a couple of weeks, August 1st. LA is September 12th. Toronto is November 7th. I'm sorry, I lost my mind there for a second.
That's okay.
It's right there on the screen. I'm an idiot. I didn't even look at it. And next year, I would just want to point out that we will be going to Miami, Philadelphia, Minneapolis, Portland, and due to popular demand, Mexico City and London. So we are taking this mother international, although Canada is international. My apologies to the Canadians, but you know what I'm saying. Like a longer plane ride. So thank you so much for asking me about it. I really do appreciate it. It's something that I really spend most of my time on now, but it is completely tied into Printing United and Brand United as well. And they are sponsors of Project Peacock because Brand United is actually co-located with Printing United, and it is for the print customers, for the same people coming to Project Peacock. And it is an educational initiative to take so that they understand more technically what they need to know, what the opportunities are for them marketing wise. So definitely more about the return of investment, for the bean counters that are like, let's use email instead of print. There are some facts that say, no, that is probably a very bad idea. I mean, use both is the answer to that question, not one or the other. So Brand United will become a digital print certification course where the print customers can get certified that they understand how to use these technologies, because they are quite different than traditional, let's say, offset printing, where you could just pull any paper off of a shelf and pretty much going to get the result you want. Digital printing, especially with inkjets, a little more tricky than that. Totally can get the results you want, but not instantaneously. There's a learning curve to understand how the press, the paper, and the ink all work together. But take a couple hour class, hear from some manufacturers, get a certification, and you'll be on your way to print purchasing greatness.
Nice. Cool. Well, that sounds amazing, and sounds like a passion project of yours too, which is even more cool. So
yes,
Aaron,
I'm honored that they have actually tapped me to be the MC of Brand United at Printing United. So it's all very important to me, especially because I was a print customer in my former life. So the fact that I get to give back to the people I know that really need the most help now, that can actually help all of us, because quite frankly, if the print customers don't start using these presses, they're just like a couple $1 million paperweights, right?
Right.
Totally.
Well, Aaron, you smiled a little bit when Deborah said 20 ideas in 20 minutes. I'm sure that you thought back to me attempting a couple of years ago to do a seminar called 52 Niche Markets in 52 Minutes. I think I got 14 done in the hour. In the 52. So, in fact, somebody came up to me after the presentation, and she said, when it took you 5 minutes to do the first idea, I knew we weren't going to get anywhere near 52.
Nice. Good stuff. Cool. All right. Well, what else we got, Terry? I think we're getting towards the end here, but you mentioned Brand United. So tell us a little bit more about that, though. I think you gave us a pretty good overview. I want to get it up on the screen here too, though, down in the corner. So it's brandunited.com. So give us a little bit more on that.
I mean, the website is not ready for this information yet. It's basically, if you go to Brand United now, you can get, like I said, some of that information, some case studies, some really great articles and research. There's a lot of major manufacturers who are sponsoring these efforts to educate the print customers. Project Peacock is the show and tell part of it, but the meat and potatoes behind it will be the education for being offered through Brand United. So at the event, the first night there'll be an opening reception and a keynote, and the next day will be the classes, but it will end with a tour of the experience zone that I mentioned to you before, and I'm pretty sure I will be involved with that. I actually have a phone call with them after this podcast to find out exactly how that will manifest. But I will, the first night, like I said, I'll be the MC, so I'll welcome everybody, and then we'll, have a short program. And the rest of it is really dedicated to giving the people the information they need. I mean, there are some people out there who don't realize that there is paper that has been specially created to use in an inkjet press. And they also think inkjet is coming out of their desktop printer, which might make Epson happy, but it doesn't make the people that make giant inkjet presses happy when all the print customers are trying to rub it off and don't understand what they're looking at. So there is a learning curve, as I mentioned in the beginning. But once we get everybody on the same page and they realize what the actual opportunities are through digital printing or through whatever technologies that they need knowledge on, it's going to elevate the game for everybody, and it will spark new ideas, new ways for people to do things, new ways that that companies can communicate with their customers and with the world. And it's really has got to start with educating the people who buy the print, because at the end of the day, you can convince any marketer who's sitting in some corner office in Park Avenue anything you want. But it's the person making $30,000 a year that is making a decision on that $800 million print budget. And if they don't know what's going on, it's not going to happen. So it's all really important. And, even if you're not going to the event, you certainly should, pay attention to that. And if you have a technology that you need print customers to know about, get involved with Printing United and get your information into their curriculum. I mean, certainly garment printing is going to come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
well,
totally.
So, Deborah, we're getting down to the end here. I'm tired thinking about what you're going to be doing at Printing United. So, can you share what your schedule is going to be there and what what's going to be going on with you?
Sure. I mean, besides hosting Brand United, I will be actually a podcast from the Printiverse is going to have a booth on the show floor where I will be recording a podcast with the manufacturers and the exhibitors and people walking by, and the two regular guys. We're going to have hey, the two regular guys just walked around the show floor. What did you see? Podcast. Recording there, walking around and meeting people. I am so honored to be working with the show and being part of it. I certainly hope to have a bigger role as the show moves on. And I just encourage everybody to pay attention. Even if you can't go, do not ignore this. Do not dismiss it. And do not just say, well, this has nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. It all has something to do with you. It's going to have something to do with the way your customers learn what they know and how they purchase print, which means it has something to do with you. So brandunited.com is the website. Printingunited.com is the website. On printmediacenter.com. That's all I've got, you guys.
Awesome, man. I'm yes, just like Terry, I'm exhausted just thinking about how busy you're going to be, and I love every second of it. So thanks for putting all that hard work into making this as awesome as it's going to be.
Thank you so much for having me again. I really enjoyed this, and I know I sent you a link that this podcast was the second most popular on my channel last month.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got to work a little harder to make this one the most popular next month.
There we go. Let's get it. All right. Good stuff. All right, Deborah. Well, thank you so much. We will catch up with you soon. And very least, we'll see you at Printing United. Let me put that up there real quick just to make sure everybody sees that. I'm going to actually make that the entire screen because, we just October 23rd through the 25th, 2019, Dallas, Texas, where it's at. Go to printingunited.com. Get signed up, add all of the stuff that Deborah had talked about, from the luncheons to the sessions, to be there. Make sure you find Deborah on the show floor. Go out, say hello, get on her podcast, all of those fun things. So make sure everybody gets that done. And Deborah, we will talk to you soon.
Thanks you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Deborah.
All righty. Well, hit the right button there. All right, cool. Awesome. Deborah, rock star as usual. I knew we were going to have a blast, and guess what, Terry? We had a blast.
I always love having Deborah on the show.
For sure. All right, Terry. Well, let's. We're doing pretty good here. Somehow we figured this out in 7 years, how to make these things almost the right timing. Deborah helped us tremendously by powering through the end of it there.
Right.
All right. So here's a couple things coming up for me. I misspoke last week when I said about my Small Business Saturdays coming up here. And I mentioned that I was going to have Todd Downing on with me, but that's actually on the 27th. So I have a very special guest joining me tomorrow. The one and only Eric Campbell will be joining me tomorrow on Small Business Saturdays. I think we have it in the afternoon. It'll be over at my page at facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info. Eric is going to talk about something that is not embroidery, Terry. I know you find this.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about Amazon and selling on Amazon and promoting on Amazon and working through some
Skynet?
of that.
Is that what you're going to be talking
The
about?
Skynet, for sure.
Right.
Skynet will be brought up. So Eric's got some great details there from projects that he's been working on. And he's the first one to say he's not the expert on it, but I think he knows a heck of a lot more than most of us do, and definitely knows more than I do on it right now. So I am so excited to get into that. I'm sure we'll talk embroidery. I'm sure we'll answer other questions and things like that. So we try to keep that one to 30 minutes. So what do you think the chances are there, Terry?
I think that's not going to happen.
Okay, all right.
Between you and Eric, no, that's not happening.
Not happening. All right. Well, Eric is the man on the spot here. Says 2 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. So I'm really excited to talk to Eric. The other thing I want to make sure that I know I've talked about this before, but on November 11th, 2019, I'm hosting a digital marketing webinar called Becoming a Digital Marketing Superhero. And the cost is going to be around $49-$50, something like that. But I'm going to have some great specials for Two Regular Guys listeners. So if you'll just get over to my webpage at aaronmontgomery.info/marketing, you can get on the email list for that as I get the details up and register. So that's how you can get those early access items, some from freebies and super awesome discounts and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about finally putting that together. I know I've been talking about it, and I finally made the jump, put a date on it, and gonna make it happen. So
Fantastic.
What about you, Terry? What do you got coming up there?
Well, while you and Eric are talking tomorrow, I'll be at Workhorse Products here in Phoenix doing my complete screen printing business course. So that's Saturday and Sunday.
So you can watch it later then, Terry, okay?
Okay, yeah, I can watch.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'll be done by 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, not Mountain Daylight Time, like Eric's talking about. Because here in Arizona, we don't do daylight savings time. We choose not to participate.
Oh my goodness! All right, so that's Workhorse Products. Are there any spots? Can last minute people get into that, or is that full?
I have a couple of spots left. It's a fairly full class, but a couple of spots left if somebody wants to. If you're in the area, hey, it's only 106 here today, so we'll be inside in the air conditioning. And my next screen printing class is going to be at Atlas Screen Supply. That's going to be August 24th and 25th for that one. And all my events, you can go to terrycombs.com. Next week, Aaron, I'm going to be July 24th. I'll be doing the free DTG class with Equipment Zone there at the Meadowlands/Secaucus/ New York City NBM show. And I'll be in the Equipment Zone booth on the 25th and 26th. And we're already talking about end of summer, August 14th. I'll be doing that same free DTG class at the NBM Long Beach show. And I'll be in the Equipment Zone booth August 15th through 17th there in Long Beach as well. So I don't have any open spaces mixed in there is going to be my daughter and I going to watch the Vans surfing championships in Huntington Beach. So,
Yep, busy guy. So yeah, check out everything Terry's got going on over at terrycombs.com/tour dates. Cool stuff. All right, Terry. Well, I think you think we've done enough damage for one day. As we,
I think we have. Look at it. We're right on the hour.
We are good. All right, good stuff. All right. Well, I want to thank Deborah Korn for joining us. So we really had a great time talking to her. Make sure you go over and check her out at printmediacenter.com, and that's Print Media Center. The center is CENTR. So just take out that one E there, and you've got it. So lots of great information over there, from the podcast to the Project Peacock to Printverse, Twitter chats. Apparently, even yesterday, she was teaching Twitter how to code. Just kidding.
I'm going to have to take a nap just thinking about all the things she does. So
yeah, really great stuff coming from her. So thanks very much to her, and make sure to check out what she's got going on over there.
All right. We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. You can find him at ericcampbell.com. And thanks to our sponsor, Embrilliance, and their family of products.
Excellent. Yes. And Terry, next week's show, we're going to have Henry Ma from Racoma on to discuss pricing advice every decorator should know. So I'm really excited about that. As we mentioned, Eric's going to be guest hosting with you. So with me, as
Right.
you'll be very, very busy as usual. So good stuff there. I can't wait to talk to Henry, though. So this should be really good stuff. Pricing advice every decorator should know coming up.
Great show. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys. Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.